The Patticasamuppada is a teaching on the dark, morbid, human condition, situation in which we find ourselves born as human beings and sentient beings in general. It reflects the dark side, the terrible side, the harsh truth about our existence. We have to make an effort to see the reversal of each one of the 12 Nibbāna in order to see the sunshine again. So the Patticasamuppada is in the form of the 12 links or 12 Nibbāna. It very much comprises a detailed description of the first and second ennobling truths. These are the depressing part of the teaching, the dark part of the teaching, first and second ennobling truths. So if you would reverse every one of the 12 Nibbāna, you would see the third and fourth ennobling truths. Only that we might have to start with Tanha rather than with Avijja, because Avijja, that's the beginning of the dark side, and the reversal of which is, could say, Jnana, gnosis. That's the goal. That's the destination, rather than the beginning for a practitioner. We will have to start with Tanha, and the reversal of which is Virāga, the opposite of Tanha. Because out of all the 12 Nibbāna, it is Tanha that we can negotiate with, that we can work with. You couldn't come at any one of the 12 Nibbāna so directly, You couldn't just battle with any one of them, although any one of them could be argued to be the origin or cause of suffering. It's just that it's Tanha that is of the highest relevance for a practitioner, because of all 12 links or Nibbāna, it is the one that we can at all do something about. And through its gradual reversal, eventually there comes the destruction of conditioned existence, the dismantling of all those 12 links which bring about our suffering and our conditioned and continual existence. And even Tanha, we don't really come at it so directly. There's nothing that we can do about any one of the 12 Nibbāna directly, through an act of will, through an act of power. It's just all that we have is awareness and alienation with regard to Tanha, desire, in both its forms, craving and aversion. So becoming constantly and consistently aware of craving and aversion, and constantly and consistently alienated from that self which seemed to crave and grow averse to this and that experience. There is inherent in the expression Tanha also one of the most significant and profound human emotions, a condition of life really, more than just an emotion, which is fear. That is also the word Tanha comprises. And fear is a very profound form of aversion. Or you could say the other way around too. Aversion is a subtle form of fear. But it is certainly one of the things which prevent us from being able to grow alienated from our desires, our sense of belonging. In a certain sense, what the Buddha asks us to do is very simple. Just be consistently aware of the emotional experience and be consistently alienated from it. Don't regard that experience as if it belongs to you, as if it's up to you, as if it's under your control. Don't regard it as a self. That's all. Not much. But despite of that, one has to admit that it's not so easy. And that's because the moment we embark on that kind of path, the moment we become increasingly aware of pain, and that is the last thing any sentient being wants to do. It's the opposite of what any sentient being naturally wants to do, which is to run away from pain or to destroy it. That's why, despite of the simplicity and straightforwardness of the path of practice, it continues to be difficult. And the question for me has never been whether it's difficult. Rather, it was whether this is at all real, doable. And the fact that once you develop the faith that this is doable, it becomes really fateful. You no longer have any options, to do something else, to live normally, or to regard experience, life, presence, being, existence in normal terms. That is, to identify with it, to recognize these things as if they're belonging to you as a self. when the simplicity and straightforwardness of practice manifest themselves in one's own experience, then there are no options other than for faith and purpose, chanda, to grow in such a way that they really prevent any attempt of rationalization of the human condition. What do you see in experience is that inasmuch as you become aware of Tanha, inasmuch as you become alienated from it, what happens is that that experience or layer of Tanha soon enough becomes transcended. It ceases, it stops. Just through that awareness and alienation, this Nibbidā, with regard to it, in the course of time, and not a very long time, that experience of Tanha, whether it is desire, whether it is craving, aversion, or fear, becomes transcendent, all by itself. And then what you find is that there is yet a deeper layer of Tanha. It instantly manifests, and it is usually at first quite impressive, because you've never really seen it before. Perhaps you knew about it, or read about it, or something like this. But for the first time you see it, it manifests in your emotional experience, in your dreams. For the first time now you know what you're talking about. It's no longer something that is distant, that is being conceptualized. It's right there, you can feel it. And then again you continue your practice. Awareness, accompanied by alienation from that experience. Spite of the fact that it will want you to identify with it through emotion. It's going to make you feel things. It's going to make you want to respond to it by doing something. That's how emotion works. But through wisdom and through understanding, as you persevere in practice, as you have the courage and nobility to remain unmoved, like the Buddha remained unmoved throughout the night at which he attained enlightenment, attained liberation. As you do that, that experience of Tanha also becomes transcendent. And that keeps happening, that pattern keeps repeating itself again and again and again. And each time you are uncovering all those deeper and deeper layers of existence. And it gets so impressive and so interesting. It gets incredibly unbelievable. How deep goes this human condition, its roots, its foundations. So it's really overwhelming. But this is where the nobility which we attribute to the Four Truths becomes seen. The nobility of recognizing that whole situation, that incredibly dark human situation, but the hope and the purpose which exists through it, through the opportunity, the possibility that we have just to remain unmoved by Tanha. The freedom, the only freedom that we have to be aware of it and to choose to not take it as a foundation for behavior and for action, to be alienated and estranged from it. That is our only hope, and that constitutes our most sublime and noble sense of purpose in this existence and life. And as you transcend those successive profound layers of human existence, one after another, that's how faith develops. Because then you realize that if you keep doing that, if you keep going that way, through that path of practice, it becomes only a matter of time. Liberation, emancipation, salvation, all these good words. And as an experience also, becomes only a matter of time. You discern that as you are making progress now, there must be a point at which no further progress is needed. There is nothing more to be transcended. And that, of course, is a matter of faith. But at least you can see that that process of transcendence is happening in your experience right now. And you could see, you could compare the difference of the present moment, having transcended all these layers of conditioned existence, suffering and fear. You can compare that with your own experience in the past, before transcending all these layers. At least we have that to support our faith in that final point at which nothing is left to be transcended.